What's up, everybody? It's Thursday, July 20th, 2017, and it is the 2,873rd day that the U has not beaten FSU in football. I'll do this until they beat us, and if they beat us, I guess I have nothing else left to say. Otherwise, if they don't beat us on September 16th, it's gonna be a it's gonna be a long process for them. Anyway, I don't just in case somebody didn't notice that I was doing this at the beginning of every video, that was the case. Um, just a lot of stuff, kind of going on. And I just wanted to give some comments on. Not nothing real big. Not trying to, stir the masses with a lot of stuff. But I figure I just give my 2 cents concerning some of the stuff that has happened in the last couple of days. I'm not trying to expound on a lot of it, but still just wanted to give my uh, opinion on some of those things. At least for yesterday, the Chargers' number one pick, which was the seventh pick in the draft, wide receiver Mike Williams out of Clemson, may need back surgery, and that would be season-ending back surgery for the Chargers. And I'm mentioning the Chargers because the Chargers is my football team. So if there's any criticism towards the Chargers or the Florida State Seminoles or the San Antonio Spurs or the Los Angeles Angels, it's because I'm a fan and I figure a fan can criticize their team. Um, the Chargers have kind of had at least in recent years, they've had a kind of a record of drafting players that have had a previous history of some real serious injuries and citing a team that can't keep a lineman healthy, an offensive lineman healthy. I'm wondering why they continue to draft players of that might have a suspect background in references to health. Um, the only thing I can come up with is two things. They're not good at drafting players, and the other thing is maybe they want to draft players with those little bit of those injury problems because what allows them to do is maybe get them at a cheaper price because the injury prone. Then guess what? Chargers say, "Look, at man, we're taking a chance on you. Let's get that discount done." They don't get a lot of top players, and that's it. Even Joey Bosa. I think he had a little bit of an injury problem at Ohio State. He did get hurt. He missed a couple of games, even besides the holdout. I think he missed a couple of games last year. So Chargers need to do better, or maybe that strength and conditioning program or their trainers. Maybe they need to get some more top shelf guys to keep these guys healthy because it doesn't seem to be working. In this case of Mike Williams, he had a fractured bone in his neck in college, and I think that was his sophomore year because he did play mostly all of. I think he played all of his junior year. He left early. He did not stay for his senior year, so he left early after his junior year, redshirt junior year. Um, they say he may have hurt himself either at his pro day or at the combine, and he hit it pretty well. Trying to figure out how the Chargers didn't notice this. How do you hide something? I mean, make him do a physical or whatever. I mean, what did he do? Did he shoot up with drugs so that he could pass anything that the Chargers have him do? Anyway, the Chargers didn't do their due diligence, and of course, he was being shady because he didn't want to mess up his draft status. So hey, at the end of the day, if we're not doing a good job of vetting him, then we get what we deserve. Nevertheless, odds are he will need back season-ending back surgery so that he can come back full speed. Hopefully, Keenan Allen can stay healthy, and all the other receivers that we have can stay healthy. Hopefully, uh, our tight ends can stay healthy, and Antonio Gates. And we have another the young guy who hopefully he is ready to step up, which could also help us in the sense that we can have two good uh, tight ends. If we can get the offensive line to stay healthy and protect Phillip Rivers, we could be a decent team. Last year, I think we went 4-12. I still don't have us better than 7-9, 8-8 at the max. I don't think this is a playoff team yet. I think it's a very good defense, but if we're on the field a lot because the offense is not clicking. Even last year, our running back was not healthy as well. Then we're going to have problems. So more to come on the Chargers as the football season gets closer. I think within the next couple of days, training camps opening, especially for the rookies to come in there and get ready. James Jones, former Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavalier basketball player, has been named the new Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Phoenix Suns. I just want to say congratulations to him. See him move up in the front office after having a very good career. 3 NBA titles, 2 with the Heat and 1 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James liked him so much that he kept him around with him all the time. Kind of kept that, brought that veteran frame of mind to the locker rooms and try to help guys do what they do. But again, just good for James Jones to come in there and be VP of basketball operations. As I mentioned, I have my favorite team, so I like to mention them when they're doing things. The Angels, there's Cameron Maybin is now on the disabled list for MCL strain. It's just a 10-day DL. He should be back by then. What's significant about this is that Cameron Maybin was the leading, major league leading stolen base leader with 25 stolen bases. So that's why it's significant. I wouldn't have mentioned it if he wasn't a stolen base leader or didn't lead in something. So speedy recovery to him. Angels can use all they can get. We haven't found any consistency, whether with the bats or with the pitching. So hopefully that helps out there. In today's news, probably everybody's heard. If not, it's probably just one word about it. O.J. Simpson has been granted parole to be released, I think, October 1st after spending 9 years in jail for what they considered a armed robbery. The interesting thing about this, and like I said, I'm not going to try to expound too much on O.J. Simpson. There are those who feel like he should be in jail for the rest of his life for a double murder. I just look at it like this. If he was found not guilty, then he don't need to go to jail. The other thing is that he had to go to court for libel, and they basically just tried to take all of his money. And I didn't think that was right. I figure if you're found not guilty, how are you liable for someone? How are you liable for a crime if you were found not guilty? I mean, I could read up on the technical part of that or the law part of that, but I choose not to. At the end of the day, as I said, he was paroled. O.J. Simpson is 70 years old, and basically, according to the parole board, he's been a model citizen in prison. And at 70, I guess it might be a good idea to just go ahead and let him out anyway, as long as they don't feel he's a threat to society. So congratulations to him for that. As I mentioned, he had gone to jail for what they considered an armed robbery, where some people stole his property, and he went back to try to retrieve it. Unfortunately, he had, a gun with him, even though he really didn't have any intention on using a gun. But again, like I said, I'm not trying to retry it. But the other factor in that is that the whole thing was videotaped. Sound like somebody was trying to put him in jail, right? Anyway, that's that. So OJ's out. Hopefully everybody can live hopefully everybody will be able to carry on with their lives now that is over and done. I did not see the parole hearing. To me, that is a waste of time. Anybody put that on TV, I just find it just asinine. That's just what the media is all about now. People now just get caught up in it, and they don't focus on anything really of importance. Whether he got out or not really wasn't important, and we continue to focus on things like that. That doesn't make any sense. Hugh Freeze was fired by Ole Miss. He is the head football coach, or was the head football coach. Ole Miss says that there were frequent numbers called to an escort service, and that is the reason for his firing. I'm a little on the fence about this. Your personal business is your personal business. But if they ask him about it, and he lies about it. But the other thing was he was still trying not to get fired, so that's why he said he didn't do it, because they would fire him for something as what I consider as petty as that. Your personal business, your personal business. Unfortunately, in today's society, everybody's worried about image. So when you're worried about image, guess what? Don't you can't. You got to be model citizen. You got to be perfect. Also, what are they going to say? You're setting an example for the players. Me calling them model shirts is not setting an example. I do whatever I want to do in my personal business. That's what I would have thought. Nevertheless, they fired him. I think after 4 years of or 6 years of coaching Ole Miss. Ole Miss is also under the microscope, the NCAA microscope, for at least 15 level one violations stemming from Hugh Freeze's tenure, as well as possibly part of Houston Nutt, which is the previous coach before Hugh Freeze, during his tenure. So I think it was a little bit of that, and the escort service thing was just a reason to fire him, even though I think they were going to do it anyway if any of those violations stuck in the first place. I mentioned Houston Nutt because Houston Nutt is suing Ole Miss for defamation of character, basically trying to blame all these violations on him. And when the NCAA basically expressed these violations, none of them really implicated Houston Nutt, even though some of those violations were considered under his tenure. But I guess he looks at it, Houston Nutt looks at it as if I'm not implicated, then that means I didn't know, and that means I shouldn't be at fault. But Houston, you got to know. Anytime there's an NCAA violation problem at a school, they're going to let you go. When you're talking about college football, college basketball, you can probably survive some things. College football, you're not surviving it. School can't afford to lose money, can't afford to go backwards. Even though they could lose bowl games, they could lose scholarships, but they can't keep you on there, and that hurts. Where players won't come to the school, that sort of thing. So Houston Nutt's still suing. I think he was due some money when they let him go, and they didn't give it to him, and so uh, the NCAA helps him out and says none of it was his fault, or he's not at fault for anything. He could be getting that money back. So that's how that goes. Just a little note: the British Open golf major is going on. When they decide on a winner on Sunday, I'll let you guys know about that. Also, the Tour de France ain't the same without Greg LeMond and Lance Armstrong, all those guys, Miguel Indurain back in the day. It's not the same, but whenever they finish their legs, I'll let you know who that winner is. They should be getting close to it. It's usually right around the end of the time when they do that. I think they do 22 legs. So we'll let you know that. Lastly, the NCAA tournament is looking to expand their field to 72 teams. They're considering it. They're looking at it. Well, when you have about 320 Division One schools, I guess 72 isn't bad. Um, this is a beneficial to some mid-major schools that could probably get in, especially those mid-major schools that run roughshod through their conference in the regular season and then somehow find a way to lose in their conference tournament by adding four more teams that can give them opportunity to get in. And then you're also talking about some high-level schools that, maybe, they're 500, a couple games above 500 that aren't getting in because they're just not getting in. Um, I still think you go by RPI and all that kind of stuff and let the chips fall where they may. You're adding four teams. You're just looking to try to add some more. I mean, right now, college football has about 120, 125, 130 schools, Division One schools, and four make a playoff. It's a very small percentage. College basketball, you're teetering on having too much. 72 teams out of 320. That percentage is totally different from college football. I don't think it's necessary. 64 to me was fine. The extra four, you kind of don't even notice them sometimes. Adding another four, it's like you're taking the baby steps to adding probably another 16 teams, which would put it at 80. And that's not necessary, even though you got 320 schools. So I guess if you got 400 Division One schools, then 72 might not be bad, or even 80. So good luck with that, NCAA. Let me know how it goes. Not that it would change how I watch it, but it is what it is. Um, Other than that, no new music to talk about. And I just wanted to mention that because all the things that's going on with Ole Miss and OJ. So I just want to bring that to the attention and bring it to the forefront and get it on out the way. As I mentioned, the weekend is coming. You got the golf, you got the Tour de France, baseball news, basketball news, pro football news probably be picking up. So if you hear anything, I'll let you know. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Otherwise, take care of yourself. God bless, and free Colin Kaepernick. Peace.